Why do we keep buying from the same brands even when better or cheaper options exist? Why do people line up for Apple drops or post Nike quotes like their life mottos? It's not just about product quality, it's about how the brand interacts with our psychology, and more specifically, commitment and consistency bias. Let's break that down though. See, this isn't theory. It's a practical tool used by the most successful brands in the world to turn casual customers into loyal advocates. And once you understand how it works, you'll start seeing it everywhere. More importantly, you'll learn how to use it in your own brand to drive retention, increase lifetime value, and build word of mouth at scale. So let's break this down. The bias comes from psychologist Robert Cialdini, author of Influence. Check it out if you haven't already. Basically, it describes our human tendency to stay consistent with past actions, especially when those actions are public, emotional, or tied to our identity. So if I buy from a brand that says we care about sustainability, and then I post about it, I'm not just buying a product anymore. I'm aligning with a version of myself. So look, this isn't manipulation, it's psychology. And when brands understand this, they stop focusing on transactions and they start creating identity loops. So let's see how this plays out in the wild. Canva is a great example of this. They're not just a design tool, they're kind of an identity gateway. So from the moment you log in, it asks you, what do you want to create? Social posts, resumes, business proposals. That's not UX, it's a positioning prompt. You're not designing, you're becoming someone within the ecosystem, a founder, a content creator, a design-forward brand. And then the micro rewards kick in, right? Progress bars, check marks, visual momentum. Canva turns usage kind of into an achievement, and it reinforces, I'm someone who does this. Add that to the social layer, sharing templates, posting graphics, inviting collaborators. Well, now you're publicly signaling your tools to your tribe. And once your identity is anchored into the platform, well, switching tools doesn't just mean learning a new UI. It means rewriting who you are again. That's friction, right? Let's take a look at AG1. They've done a great job of this. They didn't blow up by shouting about superfoods. They kind of sold a ritual. One scoop every morning. It's not a supplement. It's a signal that you take your health seriously. And once that habit sticks, well, again, you're not a customer anymore. You're someone who does this every day, no questions asked. They layered on athlete and podcast endorsements to turn AG1 into a routine among high performers. Not just, I bought this, but more like, this is who I am. And so the more you repeat it, the more public it becomes. And therefore, the harder it is to break without then breaking your self-image. That's the power of consistent identity reinforcement. I've got another one for you. This is a great example too. Glossier. They didn't launch with product hype. They launched with a listening strategy. So their blog, Into the Gloss, was a community-powered hub for beauty rituals and real routines. When they dropped their first products, it wasn't a campaign. At that point, it was a continuation. So then they layered in user participation, shelfies, testimonials, day-in-the-life routines. It's not just marketing at that point. It's public rituals. So once you've posted your skincare shelf, Glossier isn't just a product anymore. It's part of how you present yourself to the world. This is the loop. Engage the community, empower expression, and then reinforce identity. It's a system built entirely on the commitment and consistency bias. So okay, enough of the examples. How do you know if your brand is activating the bias? Well, run a self-check. So number one, are your customers publicly aligning with your brand? Do you see content, language, mentions that sound like identity reinforcement? We're looking for, this is my go-to, or I always use, I couldn't live without, right? Number two, are you giving them a role to step into? We don't want them to just be a buyer. We want to make them feel like a minimalist, a creator, a conscious consumer, or a peak performer. Number three, is it harder to stop using you for emotional reasons rather than the practical ones? That's a strong signal that you've transcended the product level. Number four, are you reinforcing identity through behavior? Every action should feel like a step deeper into the tribe. These are the emotional moats. Build them intentionally. So what we're getting into here is almost cult brands. Let's look at some examples that you might not know that have done a really, really good job at this. Recess, they're a CBD soda brand. It's not about selling calm, it's selling aesthetic wellness. Their Instagram, sure, it's a vibe, but once you post the can, you feel like you're in that community. Cometeer Coffee, they're a frozen flash brewed espresso pod with a cult following. Their packaging, it feels like tech, not beans. The message is you're not a coffee drinker, you're optimized. Or some of you might have heard of Mate the Label, sustainable basics that make you feel like a relaxed, wellness first LA minimalist. But customers post their fits with this is who I am energy, not this is what I bought. So with that all in mind, let's apply this bias step by step through your funnel. Well, number one is going to be the acquisition component. Use aspirational copy in your ads. So you're not just joining, you're upgrading who you are. Join 10,000 other creators taking their first step, right? Community, be a part of this group, right? That's the acquisition side. Number two is onboarding. Prompt identity shifts like, let's set up your system because pros don't wing it. You're a pro, you're part of us, let's set you up. Or this is day one of your performance era, right? Getting people in, this is identity signaling. Number three is going to be engagement. Build reinforcement loops. You're in the top 5% of our users this month. You've created 12 projects, look what you've built, right? Make it about them, engage them. Number four is retention. Inject subtle pressure to stay consistent. So don't break your streak now, or people like you usually continue with XYZ, right? Retention, keep them going. And then number five is advocacy. Use role-based phrasing. So do you want to help others like you? Share your journey. You're not just a user, you're a model for what's possible, right? Make them want to be your advocate. Every part of your funnel should whisper the same thing. This is who you are. In addition to these components, we've got identity triggers, right? Plug and play options that you could bring into your own brand. So number one, you're not buying X, you're becoming Y. You're not buying a journal, you're becoming someone who reflects with intention. Or number two, day one of your X era starts now. For skincare, day one of your clean skincare era starts now. Number three, you've already started, don't stop now. So abandon carts, churn risk, login nudges. Number four, people like you choose and then insert next step. So this could be social validation and self-categorization. And number five, what would the best version of you do next? So this would be an open-ended CTA that leans into future self-consistency. It's subtle language, massive downstream effects. So look, the best brands don't just win customers, they reshape identity. Commitment and consistency bias isn't a hack, it's the operating system for loyalty. When you embed it into your brand, from ads to onboarding to retention, you're not just selling products anymore, you're helping people step into a better version of themselves. And once they've stepped in, they don't want to step out. It's not marketing, it's actual transformation. Psychology is ultimately the foundational pillar to marketing in general, across all facets. So if this has been useful for you, click the follow button, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.